Good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm State Senator Erica Harris. I represent the 56th Senate District in the Metro East, serving families in Madison County and St. Clair counties. Thanks again for being here. We often talk about housing in this building in terms of numbers and statistics. But for the families I represent, a home is more than a financial transaction. It's where we raise our children. It's the kitchen table where we work through life's challenges. For many, their home is the single greatest asset we will ever own. For most Illinois families, our home equity is our safety net, built through years of hard work and sacrifice. For many in Illinois today, homeownership feels increasingly out of reach. A lack of affordable homes, rising costs, and the highest property taxes in the nation are making home ownership harder, especially for young people just starting out. As a mom, I think about this often. When our kids graduate and get jobs, they want to build a life. Will they be able to afford to do it here in Illinois? Think about this. The average first-time home buyer last year was 40 years old. 40. And only 21% of homes were purchased by first-time buyers. That tells you how tough it has become to break into the market. There's no quick fix here, but we can take meaningful steps to provide relief to homeowners. That is why I've introduced a package of bills. Senate Bill 3959 is the Welcome Home Illinois tax credit. This bill provides a $500 non-refundable tax credit to first-time home buyers. It can be carried forward up to 5 years, and we know that the early years of the mortgage are sometimes the hardest, so this will help directly during those times. It's not a cure-all, but it's definitely a meaningful step. It's a signal that Illinois wants young people to put down roots and to build a future here. I've also introduced Senate Bill 3782, the Fairness in Property Tax Foreclosure Task Force. When a family faces tax foreclosure, they aren't just losing a house, they're losing their financial life raft. Under our current law, delinquent property taxes are sold, and families can not only lose their home, they lose all of the equity that they spent years and years building. That's fundamentally wrong. The U.S. Supreme Court has made it clear that governments cannot keep excess equity after a tax foreclosure. Illinois is the only state in the nation that has yet to comply with the Supreme Court ruling. It's past time to comply with this law. This task force will ensure that we reform the system responsibly and protect homeowners from losing the wealth they worked a lifetime to build. And finally, the elephant in the room that we talk about often in this building, property taxes. This issue is what first brought me into public service. I was frustrated with my property tax bill. I didn't understand, why is it increasing every year? Where is this money going? I wanted a front row seat to see how those tax dollars were being spent. So I ran and was elected to my local Madison County board. Here, we successfully lowered property taxes. We did what many elected officials talk about. Everyone campaigns on affordability, making life easier, and lowering property taxes. How many people actually do it? I'm so proud to say that I was able to help make that happen in Madison County, where we lowered our levy and kept it flat for 8 years. We need that kind of action at the state level. When I came to the Senate, I continued this goal, successfully helping advance a senior property tax exemption. This provides targeted relief to seniors living on fixed incomes. But we need to go further. Illinois residents still carry the highest tax burden in the nation. According to a recent Census Bureau migration estimates that nearly 7,500 Illinoisans moved to Missouri in 2024 alone. When families can cross the river and pay nearly half the property taxes, that matters. The difference doesn't just move people, it moves opportunity. That's why I'm proposing Senate Bill 3781. This one's about keeping a promise that Illinois already made. There's a tax credit on the books right now for homeowners. It's actually a credit that most homeowners have never even heard of. Here's the problem. If the credit is worth more than you owe in income taxes, the state just keeps the difference. You never see it. And for a senior living in Alton or a retiree in Collinsville who's living on fixed income, this is real money that they have earned and they've never received. So this bill just makes that refundable. If you're owed it, you get it. That's how it should have been all along. That money belongs to you. This legislation turns a paper credit into real relief, dollars that can help cover groceries, prescriptions, gas, utilities. Taken together, this collection of bills are a commitment, and they send a clear message to my neighbors in Metro East and in Illinois. We believe in the families who are building their lives here. We believe the state should be working for them, helping them get into a home, honoring the credits that they've earned, and protecting what they've built. That's what this package is all about. I'm proud to carry these bills, and I look forward to working with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to advance them. And now I will turn it over to Leader Curran. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Harris. You know, I'm proud to join Senator Harris today to talk about a problem that really plagues all Illinois families, and that is high property taxes, and how we can bring down and provide some relief on high property taxes and bridge that gap for first-time home ownership here in Illinois. You know, I think her work in Madison County, when she was on the county board, of actually providing property tax relief to families in Madison County is an example of what we should be doing here at the State House. And so I'm just thrilled to be working with her as she now seeks to bring that same commitment of providing property tax relief, savings to families all across the state of Illinois. I'm also supportive of her tax foreclosure initiative. I represent Cook County and grew up in Cook County. And Cook County has had over 1,000 of these tax foreclosure seizures, property takings, and over 150 of those involve seniors. This is according to a report from Injustice Watch. We must really work towards property tax reform in this state, and we also must really tackle the problem of inflation. And what inflation is doing, we are not keeping up with inflation in this state. So inflation is putting more pressure on families, and at the same time, the relief mechanisms we have for property taxes are not tied to inflation. That's why the first proposal I've put forward is providing CPI, applying CPI to the homestead exemption. The homestead exemption is in statute to provide some property tax relief for families, for homeowners in this state, to bridge the gap on that burden, but it's not keeping up with inflation. So applying CPI to the homestead exemption going forward will, year over year, provide additional property tax relief to Illinois families. In addition, this past year, Illinois families have been hit with a drastic increase in home insurance. Home insurance costs have skyrocketed in this state, 25% plus year-over-year increases that families have been having to pay. So I have a proposal to try to give some relief on that. And that is a tax deduction for that year-over-year increase on your state income taxes to provide some relief for homeowners as they face really an unknown, hyper-inflated cost on home ownership. Those two measures will provide immediate relief right now to families all throughout Illinois on high costs and high property taxes as we look for long-term solutions and continue to work on long-term solutions here in the legislature to really shift away from high property taxes in Illinois, try to bring those down, and finally get this problem tackled. We really do need a holistic approach on property taxes in the state of Illinois, but in the meantime, while we work on that, we need relief right here, right now. These proposals from Senator Harris and myself can actually provide homeowners, families all throughout Illinois immediate relief this year. You know, right now, home ownership for a first-time home buyer is more daunting than ever in Illinois. You know, the statistics are alarming. The average age is 40. You know, first-time home buyers only make up 21% of the homeowners market last year, purchasing market. That's an all-time low. We see the problem here. We do not want to have just a rental society. We want to help people make that first step, that first investment. It's really each family, most families across the state of Illinois, their biggest investment, their biggest financial security is the equity in a home. You cannot build equity without that first purchase. So whatever we can do here to try to bridge that divide and help people, oftentimes young families in Illinois, take that first step into home ownership will be a long-term financial security for Illinoisans and a way to keep Illinoisans here in this state, you know, going forward. So with that, I just want to say I'm very proud to work with Senator Harris on this. I think her prior work on providing actual property tax relief over 8 years in Madison County is an example to all of us here, and it is something that we want to do statewide.